Today we're taking a look at an entire YouTube AI workflow to upload YouTube videos from start to finish. We'll be looking at how we get a text transcript from our video using an AI platform called TurboScribe, using that text file with Claude and ChatGPT to generate YouTube video titles, descriptions, thumbnails, and tags, and then uploading all of that information in YouTube Studio. Be sure to check out the links for the individual videos for parts 1 through 4 in the description, and if you're ready, let's start learning. Alright, so here we are on TurboScribe's website, and TurboScribe is an AI platform that I like to use where I can upload a video or an audio file, and then it gives me a transcript. So as you can see, they have different pricing plans. They have $10 a month or $20 a month, but the nice thing about TurboScribe is they also have a free option. And so when you use a free account for TurboScribe, you can get 3 transcripts free daily. You don't have to pay for anything. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what the dashboard looks like inside of TurboScribe's platform. All right, so here we are inside of my TurboScribe dashboard. So I've logged in. So as you can see at the top here, this will say what your email is, and you can open your profile, so on and so forth. But this is the layout that it looks like when you've got all of your files you've loaded. So as you can see right here, recent files. It'll show you the name, it'll show you the date it was uploaded, it'll show you the duration of the video, and then these different modes that you use when you're loading a video into the actual transcription. So the first thing you do is you're going to go ahead and go to right here where it says transcribe files, and then when you click that, it'll pop up with a window just like this. And so this is where the mode that we saw, you can choose 3 different modes. You can use cheetah, dolphin, or whale. And so I'm going to hover over it so we can see that cheetah, it says it's TurboScribe's fastest transcription mode. It's tuned to generate transcripts as quickly as possible, but it might not be as accurate. And then if you go to whale, this is the highest accuracy, but it's also the slowest version. And so I like to use dolphin generally, and this is a good balance between accuracy and speed. And so once you do that, and you figure out which transcription mode you want to use, you can also choose the languages. So as you can see, there's lots of options. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it on English. And then right here, this is where you actually either drag and drop the file, or you can click Browse Files, and that will open up the window where you can select the file manually. And as you can see, they have a bunch of different formats you can use: MP3, MP4, so on and so forth. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click right here where it says Browse Files. And as you can see, our box pops up. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose the video that I want to load. So I go ahead and click it and hit open. And now you can see that it says ChatGPT account setup, which is the video that we're going to use here for this video. And so now you can see it's going through the percentage of completion. And so now you've got the blue check mark right here that shows that the video has been uploaded. And so now I'm going to click right here where it says transcribe. Alright, so now on the dashboard, right here where it says status, you can see that we've got that blue circle and it's showing that it's loading. If I hover over that spinning circle, it says transcribing now, and you can see that the percentage is going up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here where these 3 dots are, and when I click that, you can see that you have a few options. You've got open transcript, export transcript, share transcript. You can download the audio, rename the file, or delete the file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click right here where it says export transcript, and then when I do that, you can see now you can actually export it in various different file formats. What I generally like to do is just use a text file. So that's how I'm going to download it. But as you can see, you can download it as a PDF, a docx, so on and so forth. So now I'm going to go ahead and just download the text file, and then we'll move forward from there. And as you can see, the export has been completed. And so if you want to download it again, you can. I'm just going to go ahead and hit go back. And now you can see our dashboard shows our status with the green check mark, and it says transcript complete. So this is the actual text file that TurboScribe did complete. So as you can see, it does have a message here at the top. It says transcribed by TurboScribe. Go unlimited to remove this message. So basically, if you do use the paid version of TurboScribe, you can remove the header that says that. as well as the footer at the bottom that says transcribed by TurboScribe, go unlimited to remove this message. But other than that, it's a pretty useful tool that gives us this transcription of the actual video. So what you'll notice is right here, for example, it says ChatGPT instead of ChatGPT. There are little differences like that, but what you will notice is that it is pretty accurate when you're looking at the transcript from the entire video. So again, once we transcribe the file and we do get that text file from the video, we're going to discuss how we use that to input into different versions of AI like ChatGPT or Claude. But for now, I just wanted to go over that specific process of how we use TurboScribe and how TurboScribe's AI does help us with transcribing a video. And so now in the dashboard, it saves everything and all the videos that you've used as files to transcribe the files. And as you can see up here on the left as well, it says 1 of 3 daily transcriptions used. So like I said, the free account only gives you 3 transcriptions per day. For my purposes, I don't need more than 3, but if you are going to do something where you need multiple transcriptions throughout the day, you can go ahead and go for one of the paid options. But for my purposes, I just use the free account, and so I like to go ahead and show those options so that all of us beginners can see that there are options out there that are not super expensive. Alright, so now that we're done with getting our text file from TurboScribe, I'm going to go over to ChatGPT, and what we're going to do is we're going to use ChatGPT and have it help us create YouTube video titles and a couple of other pieces of information for when we actually post the video. Alright, so this is what the text file looks like from TurboScribe, and as you can see, it's not perfect. It says ChatGPT a bunch of times. And so what we're going to do is we're only going to take most of the text from this file, but we're going to leave off stuff like this. So I don't want to use this transcribed by TurboScribe portion. I'm just going to start right here, and I'm going to highlight everything down to the bottom. And then I'm also going to leave off this last line where it says transcribed by TurboScribe. So we're basically just going to stop right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. And now what I'm going to do is come back to ChatGPT, I'm going to enter my prompt, and then I'm going to enter the text file, and let's see how that works. And now this is not a perfect prompt by any means, but this is just an idea of a prompt that I use in ChatGPT when I want to put my text file in. So as you can see, it just says, using the following text file, please provide me with 10 great YouTube video titles that will pique viewer interest, help with viewer engagement, and improve click-through rate. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and enter that text that I copied, and then we'll go ahead and see what the next step looks like. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the little short prompt that we put right there. And now, if we scroll down in this dialog box, you can see that we've got all of that information from the text file that we put in. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and click this arrow, and then let's see what it pops up with as far as video titles. Okay, so if we expand this box, this is the prompt and all the text file. And now if I scroll down, this is all the information that ChatGPT gave us. So as you can see, it gave us all 10 of these potential YouTube video titles, and it also gave a little bit more information. So for example, how to create a ChatGPT account, step-by-step beginner tutorial 2026. And as you can see, you can read all 10 of the different titles. And then that middle portion right here, where it says, here are a few additional title styles that tend to perform well for click-through rate and curiosity. The first one, for example, says, I finally tried ChatGPT as a beginner. Here's my honest experience. And so you can see all the different ideas that come up within that middle portion. And then right here, it says, for this type of content, titles usually perform best when they combine. And then these are the tips that they give you. So again, this is not to say that this is the perfect prompt to use. This is not to say that this is the perfect way to get a title for YouTube. This is just an idea of how you can use AI as a tool to get your video titles and other information for YouTube videos. Okay, so now that ChatGPT has helped us create all of these different video titles, now what we're going to do is we're going to use all the context from this conversation so far, and we're going to have ChatGPT help us actually create a video description as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in the prompt asking ChatGPT to help us with the video description, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so here's the prompt that I'm going to be putting into ChatGPT, and this is not a great prompt. This is not something that took a long time for me to put together. I basically just made it simple, getting the point across of what I want it to do. So as you can see, I said, using the context from this conversation and the text file previously submitted, please generate a great YouTube video description. I like the description to be friendly, informative, use emojis, and remind the viewer that AI is complex, but that we're learning everything together. So let's go ahead and click the arrow and see what comes up with. All right, so you can see here, this is the prompt that I put in. And now you can see if we look right here, it did use emojis that I asked for. So upon first glance, it does look like it did what I asked it to do. And then it looks like it is going to be friendly and informative. So as you can see, I can take this entire YouTube video description, I can just copy that and then paste it into YouTube. So when I post the video, it's all done for me. So as you can see, ChatGPT is a very powerful tool for even things like what we did here, where we generated a video description for YouTube. And so all you have to do is just copy all of this, and then you can literally just put it into your YouTube video description when you're posting, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so another thing we're gonna do now, we've got the video description, we've got the video titles that we got from ChatGPT. Now we're gonna put in the following prompt to help us get tags when we actually upload the video. So the prompt that I put down here, it says, using the context and information from this chat, please create 20 great tags separated by comma. Now, the separated by comma portion is important because when you post in YouTube, you have to separate all the different tags by comma, and that actually creates individual tags and separates them. I'll show that when we actually post the video, but just know that if you separate it by comma, it's going to save you work in the long run when you're actually posting the video. So I'm going to go ahead and click the arrow again, and let's see what it gives us. All right, so as you can see with our prompt here, it gave us ChatGPT, ChatGPT tutorial, how to create a ChatGPT account, so on and so forth. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it into the tag section once we actually post the video. All right, so here we are in Claude, and we're gonna do the same thing that we did with ChatGPT, but now we're gonna use Claude to create those YouTube video titles and video descriptions. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up my text that I got from TurboScribe. And now as you can see, this is the same text file. So we are going to leave off all of this extra stuff the same way we did with ChatGPT. I wanna start right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight it, leave off that bottom piece, and I'm gonna go ahead and copy it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to use this same piece of text that we use in our prompt, and I'm going to go ahead and put it into Claude. So as you can see, if I paste that, this is that same prompt we used for ChatGPT. Now again, I want to give a very, very specific reminder. This is not by any means a great prompt to use. We're just doing this for teaching purposes so that you can see how to input some type of prompt and then get the result. Obviously, if you use a better prompt in the future, you'll get a much better result. But again, this is just for training purposes. All right, so here's where Claude and ChatGPT are slightly different. If you recall, when we used ChatGPT, we pasted all of the TurboScribe text here in the text box, right down here. And then when we hit enter, this is how it popped up. Well, when we use Claude, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and paste the TurboScribe text here in the box, but you'll see that when I do that, it actually pops up right here as a little posted or pasted file. And so when I click this, what you'll see is it does pop up with all of the information, as you can see. So if you pull up the text file, what you can see is this first sentence: ChatGPT is one of the most well-known AI platforms in the AI industry. This pasted content box shows ChatGPT is one of the most well-known AI platforms in the AI industry. So my point in showing you this is how all of the information gets pasted into Claude if you paste the text that we copied as opposed to the layout that ChatGPT uses. So now that we've verified the information in the text from the TurboScribe transcription, I'm going to go ahead and hit this arrow right here, and we're going to see what type of result we get with this prompt. Alright, so now that we've got all the information put in there and we hit go ahead and go on that arrow, this is the information that Claude provides to us. So as you can see, here are 10 YouTube video titles based on your content that are designed to boost clicks and engagement. And you can see that these are the 10 files that Claude gave us. And then you'll also see a few extra notes here in the other portion of the window. And the nice thing about Claude is it'll give you some examples. So what I mean by that is it says, Title 5, 7, and 10, lean into your relatable regular guy persona, which builds trust with nervous beginners. Titles 2, 4, and 8 use specific searchable phrases that match when beginners actually type into YouTube. And titles 1, 9, and 6 use urgency and social proof to drive curiosity and clicks. So the nice thing about Claude is that it does give you some tips just like ChatGPT did, but it actually gives you a little bit of reference material for each of the different titles it provides to you. Alright, so jumping back to ChatGPT very quickly, you remember that we used this prompt in order to get a great video description for the YouTube video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy that and jump back to Claude. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that same prompt here in the text box, and then let's see what the information gives us back from Claude. Alright, so you can see right here that we have the prompt that we put into Claude, and now this is the information that Claude gave us back. So you can see the video description. Welcome back to the channel. They did use emojis here as well as the green check marks, just like in ChatGPT, very similar. And then you can see right here, it also gave, let's be honest here for a second, AI can feel really overwhelming. Don't miss the next video that's coming out. If this video helped you, drop a like, comment, subscribe, so on and so forth. So as you can see, just like ChatGPT, Claude also gave us great video descriptions with emojis, just like we put in our prompt. And so you can see it's very similar to how ChatGPT gave us information. Claude was able to do a similar job as well. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to go ahead and get this same prompt that we used about creating tags for Claude. And so now I'm going to scroll down to the dialog box, and now again I'm going to go ahead and put that prompt right here. And so again, this is not going to be a great prompt that you might want to use. This is just for training purposes, an example of a prompt that you would use. So I'm going to go ahead and click this arrow right here, and then let's see the results that Claude gives us. Alright, so if I scroll down, what you can see is right here, we did get our 20 tags separated by comma, so that will give us those individual tags when we actually input them into YouTube. And you can see that Claude did also give a few tips right here, just like it did in the last section. And so this is going to kind of give you an idea of some of the tips that you can use when you want to use those tags effectively. Okay, so this is the thumbnail that we decided to go with for the setting up of the ChatGPT account video that we posted. And so now we're going to go through and see how we use ChatGPT to help us create this thumbnail as well. So let's go ahead and see how we did that. Alright, so here we are back in ChatGPT, and if you take a look in this gray box here, this is the prompt that we used to describe what we wanted the thumbnail to look like. So as you can see, we said generate a clean, minimalist YouTube thumbnail featuring a single 1990s desktop computer setup. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you, but you can go ahead and pause it and read it if you'd like to. But once we put in all that information and described how we want it to look, this is what we came up with. And so this is the first iteration that ChatGPT provided. So now once we got this first version here, we were taking a look at the image and we wanted to have the computer take up a greater portion of the actual screen. So we just wanted to have the computer and the mouse, everything be relatively the same, just take up more of the real estate in the actual image. And so if we come down here, we can see that the next portion of the prompt that we used, we said, using the same exact image, composition, colors, and elements, can you please make the computer, keyboard, mouse, and mousepad larger so they take up a greater portion of the thumbnail aspect ratio? Again, these prompts are not the best or most effective prompts that could be used, but these are just the beginner prompts that I'm using as I'm figuring this out, and I'm just passing along this information to you. And so we started with this image, and then once we use that prompt to make the computer, keyboard, and mouse larger, this is the second iteration right here. So as you can see, the computer basically just expanded in size to fill out more of the picture, which was kind of what we were looking for. And now I'm going to go back to the prompt again. And so now, just to have a little bit of a variance, instead of only having the green color on the screen, we use this prompt here to say, using the exact same image, can you make the screen white with the soft glowing light more of a white soft glow? So basically when we did that, we had the second iteration of this image, and now instead of having this green portion, we wanted to have an option with white as well. So as you can see, this is the green screen and this is the white screen. Okay, so now that we've got our thumbnail that we created in ChatGPT, I'm just going to very quickly show a couple of the adjustments that we made to end up with our final thumbnail. So the final thumbnail that we came up with is this right here. And so I'm going to show how we went from the original to this specific version. So right now I'm starting with the thumbnail that ChatGPT helped create. And so the first thing that we did was we wanted to remove this font that says day one. And so what I did was I navigated over here on the left-hand side, and I wanted to use the remove tool. And so once you use the remove tool, all you do is just highlight the portion that you want to remove, and that'll get rid of the day one. So once you remove it, it looks like this. So now it's just a blank post-it. And then the next thing we did was we wanted to have the ChatGPT logo here on the screen. And so we added the symbol and the ChatGPT, so all the logos and everything are there. And then the next thing that we did was I wanted to adjust the lighting in the actual image. And so the way I did that was I went to the original image and I hit Control or Option and L so I could change the levels. So I'm not going to show the exact changes that I made because it just kind of goes upon what your personal preference is. But just to give you an idea, if you adjust the levels, this is kind of how it looks when you adjust everything. So if I adjust on this side, you can see it gets darker or lighter. And then similarly, if you adjust in the middle, you can see how certain things get darker or lighter. And then same thing on this end, it adjusts the light as well. But what I want you to pay attention to is if you look right here, what you're going to see is as I adjust the levels, that remove tool that we used becomes more apparent depending on how you adjust it. So this is not a Photoshop tutorial. This is just something to show that you can go from the original thumbnail, which looked like this, and then finalizing and customizing everything how you want to end up with a thumbnail that looks just like this. And then as you can see, we also just updated the font, and then we put the words account setup, and we tried to make it look similar to the color that's on the background screen. So again, this is just a quick way to show how we adjusted some of the settings from that ChatGPT thumbnail that was created for us, and then we made a few little tweaks and adjustments, and this was the final product that we came up with. All right, so as you can see on the bottom, it's uploading the video, so it'll show you the status and everything there. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come right here where it says title. So this is the actual file name of the video, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And so now what we're going to do is go to ChatGPT where all the titles that they gave us show up, and then we're going to decide which one we want to use. All right, so we're back here on ChatGPT, and these are the 10 video titles that ChatGPT helped us come up with. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use number 4 here, and so I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. And if I go back into my YouTube channel dashboard, I'm just going to go ahead and paste it right here. So that is the title of the YouTube video. And now right here, this is the description box. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to ChatGPT and copy the description and do the same exact thing. All right, so now we're back here in ChatGPT, and in this box is that description that ChatGPT gave us. So you can copy this one of 2 ways. You can either just highlight everything and then right click and copy, or if you look right here, this is actually a copy function. So I'm going to go ahead and just click copy right there. You notice there's a check mark after you click it, so that just means it has been copied. And now I'm just going to navigate right back over here to the YouTube dashboard, and I'm just going to hit Control V, and that's going to paste it all in there. So now, as you can see, we've got the entire description all filled in that box. And now if I scroll down just a little bit, we've got a thumbnail section. And so now, similar to how we used the description that ChatGPT gave us, I'm going to go ahead and grab the thumbnail that we created and go ahead and upload it right here. All right, so I've got the file right here. This is the thumbnail. I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop it. And as you can see, the thumbnail has been loaded. All right, another thing that we worked on was the tags portion. And so I'm going to go ahead and navigate back to ChatGPT. And now if you scroll down to the bottom, this is where we got all of these tags. And so this is going to show you exactly why we want to have them separated by commas when we use ChatGPT. So if I go here, I'll type in test, and I'll push the space bar, and you'll see nothing happen. But if I push a comma after the word test, now you'll see it's its own little box. So I'll do test2, comma, and now you'll see they're both two separate tags. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove these. I'm going to navigate back to ChatGPT, and I'm just going to highlight and copy all of these tags. And now what you'll see is when I'm back here in the dashboard, if I paste all of these into the tags box, they're all separate individual tags because they're separated by comma. So again, that's why when we're using ChatGPT to create these tags, we want to make sure we emphasize using the context, so on and so forth. Please create 20 great tags separated by comma. All right, so as you can see, the thumbnail has been loaded, the description has been put in, and the title has been put in. So remember, I just wanted to show how we use AI to make this a little more seamless of a process for us. So we use ChatGPT to help us get the title, to help us get the description, and to help us with our thumbnail. And then we also use TurboScribe so we can get that text file, so we can insert that text file into ChatGPT. So again, we're just taking a look at how we use these AI tools to help us when we're creating everything that we want to make. AI is a great tool that can be used when uploading to YouTube. Whether it's using TurboScribe to get a text file from your video, or using Claude or ChatGPT to help create video titles, descriptions, thumbnails, or tags. AI is a great tool to use to increase efficiency when posting to YouTube. If you got value from this video, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more videos in the future to keep learning interesting things.